native onlooker and in the reader. This serpent seems dangerous indeed, as he was when he tempted Eve in Eden, but in fact is not, as we presently discover. Dante's attention to the snake kept the rapid defensive action of the angels from his view until they suddenly entered his field of vision, immediately thwarting the plans of the snake. We now see why their swords are blunted. They have no need of them because the serpent is powerless to offend. This drama is precisely that, a play by which the onlookers, now safe in their potentially but definitively saved state, may be reminded of their sinful lives, their vulnerability to the serpent, and the graces that has rewarded their goodness with salvation. Mark Musa, in some work they cited here, examines this scene as a representation of Christ's recurring second advent, as set forth by St. Bernard in his first sermon on the Advents. Between his Christ's first, when he came to earth to save humankind, and final coming at the end of time to the judge and rule the world, Christ is understood as coming into the heart of each successive believer. And he says for Denise Heilbrunn, who accepts her work, Musa's view, the intervention of the angels represents, quote, an allegorical enactment of the intermediate advent, that is, the coming of Christ into the hearts of the faithful of this world. So there's quite a long thing he's got on this here, a little bit more on that, but I won't read any more of that. Didn't say anything about these stars, though. Well, that's all he says about that, but this seems to be more of a little play, I guess, though.
It sounds like a reasonable thing to think Dante's intention was.
I think so, yeah, yeah. Well, then he does say, now this is Hollander again, from the tercets we were just reading about the stars now. He says these three tercets distance the reader from the intense family drama narrated by Nino, as though to put that drama into a cosmic context. The protagonist gazes at the pole in the southern sky where, as on a wheel, that which is closest to the axle moves more slowly than points farther from it. The four stars, representing the four cardinal virtues, as almost all agree, seen by the travelers in Purgatorio 123 near the pole, as you know, Sylvia was just reading about that, and now setting on the other side of the Mount of Purgatory and are thus shielded from view. They are replaced in their former position by these three, literally all of these stars, primarily because of their allegorical reading of the four, also insist that these represent the three theological virtues, faith, hope, and charity. However, some commentators following Portirelli argue for a strictly literal and astronomical reference here, the three stars being among the brightest of the two southern constellations. Well, there's some other commentaries, but I guess I'm not going to read all this here, but so there's differences, I guess, with different commentators, whether they take a literal or allegorical meaning of the stars. So
I wonder if the Vatican observatory existed back then.
The Vatican Observatory?
Yeah, it's now. Well, I heard my husband and I heard an astronomer, a priest from that observatory, give a lecture
Oh, yeah.
quite a few years ago. Interesting and very supportive of contemporary cosmology.
Okay. So did he say anything about, he didn't say about when this observatory was founded, did
No,
he?
I don't remember.
Well, why would they?
The Catholic Church was very concerned about the accurate observation of the stars and
Of
the
course,
movement
yeah.
of the stars because, as you know, Easter moves around, and you have to have certain astronomical knowledge to decide when Easter is going to be in a particular year. It's actually a couple of very good history books on astronomy and the Vatican and the Catholic Church.
But
I wonder
Probably
the observatory
to
was late.
Yeah, I would think so. It would have to be after. I mean, I think who was the person who invented some of the first, the first star. What were they called? Telescopes would be, Galileo, the very people that were being condemned by the church for having interpreted what they were seeing through their observations in a different way than the church. So I'd be surprised if if the Catholic Church had adopted some of their instruments for kind of countering. Although that may have been, maybe that was the instigation for it.
It's the interpretation that was the problem, not the actual observation.
Yeah, they were using science dishonestly, the way certain people do now.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, I'm going to look that up.
Well, you all are doing extremely well. Lively conversation.
Where are we?
We're,
Sylvia is going to start 109.
are we going on?
I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
The shade who, when the judge had called, had drawn closer to him through all of that attack, had not removed his eyes from me one moment. So may the lantern that leads you on high discover in your will the wax one needs, enough for reaching the enameled peak. That shade began. If you have heard true tidings of Val de Madra or the lands nearby, tell them to me, for there I once was mighty. Corrado Malaspina was my name. I'm not the old Corrado, but I am descended from him. To my own I bore that love that here is purified. I answered, I never visited your lands, but can there be a place in all of Europe where they are not celebrated? Such renown honors your house, acclaims your lords and lands, even if one has yet to journey there. And so may I complete my climb. I swear to you, your honored house still claims the prize, the glory of the Persian sword. Custom and nature privilege it so that though the evil head contorts the world, your kin alone walk straight and shun the path of wickedness. And be sure of that. The sun will not have rested 7 times within the bed that's covered and held fast by all the ram's 4 feet before this gracious opinions squarely nailed into your mind with stouter nails than others' talk provides, if the divine decree has not been stayed. So who's who?
A version of it, Dante's Purgatorio, translated by a Robin Kirkpatrick. And I must say, this is the first time I've read this, and it's the first time I've heard Dante by some other translator. And there is some considerable difference between the two.
Yes. All the way through, yeah.
Quite a while to find out what line you were reading.
Oh, really? Oh, this is Musa, isn't it? Who is it?
What Des,
Sylvia
is that
starts
your
on
name?
line 109.
Yeah,
Right,
so
right.
Was there a specific part of it you're asking about?
It's Mandelbaum.
It's the whole damn lot.
Oh,
Oh.
The shade that to the judge had near approached when he had called throughout that whole assault had not a
Mhm.
moment loosed its gaze on me.
Mm.
Mine says Mandelbaum.
I guess I misspoke. I thought the shade was the serpent, but that's actually the person that starts talking there, who is this Corrado Malaspina, I think. He's the
Yeah.
shade. He apparently approached while they were watching this scenario of the angels and the serpent, and then somebody came approaching Nino,
Mm.
and then he starts speaking and introduces himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he had not a moment. He is that person who had not loosed its gaze on me. That shade. So it's a he, I guess, but it's shade because the shade is non-binary, I guess.
But whose shade is that? Is that?
I think it's Corrado Malaspina. I think because he starts
Yes.
talking, and then
yeah.
Yeah.
Corrado
Mine,
Malaspina was called.
118, I have Conrad Malaspino, I was the
Yeah.
grandson and not the elder.
Exactly.
And this is in oh, but he's a Tuscan. He's from Tuscany.
There's a note in this version, and it says the figure who now engages the traveler is Conrad Corrado Malaspina,
Yeah.
Yeah.
who died in 1294,
Forward.
Right.
Marquis
Exactly.
of Villafranca. It says Dante stayed with the Malaspina family for a time in 1306, was
Ah.
chosen to represent them in successful peace negotiations with the Bishop of Luni. 1307, 1308, Dante addressed his fourth epistle to Moroello Malaspina, speaking in grateful terms of Moroello's hospitality. Here, in what might seem like a piece of courtly flattery, the poet identifies and celebrates the principles on which a true court, if that could ever exist, should be established. It is a place of honor where old virtues are maintained. It is also a place where protection comparable to that offered by the angels in the Vale of Princes is
Protection
extended.
from what? Protection from what?
It doesn't say.
Oh,
Possibly
Well, in this case, it'd
possibly
be, it's protection for Dante from his enemies.
all enemies. Yeah.
So Malaspina, being a shade now, can see the future. So I guess this is Dante's way of thanking that family. He's never been to that land yet, but Malaspina tells him, "Well, you're going to see it firsthand." So it's kind of
well,
That's right.
no.
it's kind of a
Des
clever
read
way
that.
of.
Somebody read they gave Dante hospitality just now.
Yeah. But see, this is set in 1300 DD. And Dante
This
wasn't
is
exiled
before.
since 1302.
Right.
So we have to pretend that he's turning into future.
Uh-huh. It's very, very challenging.
We have to keep thinking this all the time.
Yeah, there's something about the where did I see it? There was a prophecy. Where did I see it?
But this Malaspina is the grandson of the Corrado Malaspina.
Mhm.
grandson.
Also named Curado Malaspina.
Yeah. His hospitality was from his cousins, Corrado's cousins. Francescino Malapisa and Mororelli Masapina later. Because the grandson died in 1294.
Okay. So, what do we take as the meaning of now his kind of final comment here, Malaspina's final comment? Now go, for the sun shall not lie 7 times upon the pillow which the ram with all his 4 feet covers and bestrides. Before that such a courteous opinion shall in the middle of thy head be nailed with greater nails than of another speech. So forth.
So is it 7 years?
Sun shall not lie. 7, yeah.
7 years.
Seven
The Capricorn.
years.
Yes.
What's the ram with 4 feet covers and bestrides? The pillow, which the ram with all his 4 feet covers and bestrides.
So the ham has to appear 7 times. It's 7 years. No?
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
Aries.
Ah,
It
Oh,
says rested 7 times means that it entered the spring sign of Aries, the ram.
oh, okay, the ram.
The
Okay,
ram.
yeah.
There it is. No.
He's
The
speaking
pro-
astrologically.
Hmm.
The prophecy set in the springtime of 1300 concerns Dante's future exile and the hospitality he would receive from two of Corrado's cousins.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's 7 years' time.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's 1307.
I see. Thank you.
So we would know the Malaspina's family generosity not by their reputation, but from personal experience.
Hmm.
So
Yep.
who is talking to Conrad Malaspino when he says that it'll be 7 years till he
Conrad,
till he gets it.
Curada and Malaspina is talking to
Dante.
Dante.
Well, I was the grandson,
No, that's way back. So he's
and then
telling him.
Dante replies, okay, and then it's Malaspino. So what is he predicting here?
That
Well,
Dante will be living with will be taken in by his family.
Yeah. So first thing, they realized that the grandson is also named Curado Malaspina. Then go down and he, Curado Malaspina, the grandson, says to Dante, now go, for the sun shall not lie 7 times upon the pillow which the ram with all its 4 feet covers and bestrides. So he's saying to Dante, hey, our discussion is over. Time for you to move on.
Okay, I guess that gets me with the cosmology again, the movement of the what he calls it.
but it's just 7 it's 7
That
years.
just means 7
That's all
years.
it is.
7
It's just
times
7
upon
years.
the pillow. 7 times upon the pillow, which the ram with all his 4 feet covers and bestrides, equals 7 years.
Yep.
So he's predicting that for Dante.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
he's dead since 1294. This is 1300. And Dante is exiled in 1302. So he's telling him the future. They don't know the present. And he's telling him that in 7 years' time, which his cousins did give Dante hospitality when he was exiled.
Okay, so let me ask. So we're saying he knows the future, but he doesn't know the present.
Wasn't that what we had there? And
I
in
need,
in hell, then it was they didn't
in
know the
hell, in
future.
hell, that was true.
No,
They
in
didn't
hell they
know the-
didn't know the future.
He
And
said,
then,
In hell, he knew the future, but did not know the present.
but
Okay,
and
it's
what
not,
about this
Here,
testimony
well, it must be
nailed
the
to the
same here. So
I don't think it's
nailed to
in
the
here.
center of your head? What is that about?
okay, where's that?
Before that, such a courteous opinion shall in the middle of thy head be nailed, with greater nails than of another's speech,
Yeah,
unless the course of justice standeth still.
that's kind of a grim metaphor.
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah, but
Firsthand knowledge.
Hmm.
just to say about the
That such a
prestige
courteous.
and fame of the Malaspina family in 7 years. Dante will know during these 7 years about the prestige and about the fame of this big family, famous
It's
family.
a way, it's a way of saying it's going to be drilled into his head.
Yeah, that's really our equivalent expression, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, read that, because my translation, read that translation, that little bit, somebody. The sun will not have rested several times. Somebody read it in your translation.
Yeah, I'll read Charity. Go now, for the sun shall not complete its seventh rest in that great bed the ram bestrides and covers with its four spread feet. Before this testimony you have given shall be nailed to the center of your head with stouter nails and more securely driven than ever hearsay was, and this shall be certain as fate is in its fixed decree. So it's like in 7 years, you'll know how to tell the story. You'll have suffered enough and understand it well enough to tell it effectively,
Yeah, it's pretty grim.
maybe.
Yeah, but in the year 1306, Dante became very honored with the hospitality he received in the house of this family that this family owned in Lunigiana.
Oh, you know what? So, line
He
36.
was he was staying with this family
Yeah,
Yes.
during
two of his
Yeah,
7 years.
yeah,
cousins.
yeah. But Malaspina is basically saying, Dante, you're kind of talking shit right now and saying nice things about my family out of politeness.
Uh-huh.
But the reality is, in 7 years, you will know that what you are speaking is the truth.
Ah. Uh-huh.
Before that, such a courteous opinion. This is Dante's opinion of Malaspina's family. And it's courteous because he's saying nice things. But
Yeah,
that's kind of, kind of formality talk.
yeah, yeah.
And he says, you think that you're just being nice to me, but in 7 years, the truth of that will be nailed in the middle of your head.
So,
Yeah.
Because my family is going to show you that they really are honorable and supportive.
honorable prestige and fame.
It's quite an image.
Hmm.
Well, it's also, yeah, it's quite an image, but it's also interesting that Malaspina he's basically, on one hand, kind of criticizing Dante. He
Well,
seems
he
to
is.
be kind of saying, hey, Dante, I know you're just saying nice things because that's the polite thing to do.
Yeah.
And I get that. But the reality is, what you think is just a nice thing that you're saying, you will realize is the truth in 7 years.
Yeah.
He has to wait for 7 years.
Mhm.
It's very
Finished.
interesting.
Finished.
Interesting.
So now they are going to sleep, you know. Then
Going
we
to
start
sleep?
next morning.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, we're
yeah.
doing Canto 9, yeah.
Have we exhausted Canto 8?
I'd say,
Um,
yes.
There's no way to exhaust it.
Have we done what we want to do with Canto 8?
Yes. Time to move on.
Okay, there are no immediate pressing questions or concerns.
No.
No.
Okay, so I guess we are moving on to Canto 9.
We're still in anti-purgatory.
Yes.
We're leaving it, actually.
Finally getting to purgatory. Yeah.
One,
We
one,
arrived,
one to 9.
we arrived to the door of the purgatory now.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of the anti-purgatory is kind of our purgatory before getting to purgatory.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's kind of what we get to ask the question that people in purgatory get to ask all the time. When is this over?
Yeah.
When does the real show begin?
Beware, because you can stay more than 1,000 years in the purgatory.
Oh, yeah.
Because of your sins.
You
Yeah.
cannot stay more than 1,000 years?
You can stay more than 1,000 years in the purgatory.
Oh, how do we know that?
Because there is a person later on that it was in the purgatory since the days of Christ. You know, he is living, he is going up to the heavens.
Oh, okay. But
Later on, we will
that's in a
see.
future canto?
Yeah, we will see later on.
Is that Statius?
Sorry,
Statius? The poet? No.
I don't know who is the person, but I remember that there was a
Because he
person.
he travels up with them. He travels with Dante, doesn't he?
He'll
I
be
don't
joining
remember the
them at
name,
some point.
but we'll see later on.
Okay.
All right. So are we going to do the Italian reading and the English reading of Canto 9?
So if
Yeah.
you have to start now, because I have to leave,
When do you have
Okay.
to leave, Decio?
I can read my part.
Okay, let's do the Italian part right now.
Yeah. So
And we're at the gate of purgatory.
can I start it?
Dawn is
Yes, you can.
You
approaching.
can start. Decio, please start.
Allora, canto 9 del Purgatorio di Dante Alighieri. Vanti. La concubina di Titone antico già si imbiancava al balco d'Oriente, fuor delle braccia del suo dolce amico. Di gemme la, di gemme la sua fronte era lucente, posti in figura del freddo animale che con la coda percuote la gente, e la notte di passi con che sale fatti avea due nel loco ove eravamo, e il terzo già chinava ingiuso leale, quando io che meco avea di quel d'Adamo vinto dal sonno, in sull'erba inchinai, là ve già tutti e cinque sedavano. Nell'ora che comincia i tristi lai, la rondinella presso alla mattina, forse a memoria del suo primo guai, e che la mente nostra peregrina, più dalla carne e men da pensier presa, alle sue vision quasi è divina. In sogno mi parea veder sospesa un'aquila nel ciel con pene d'oro, con le ali aperte ed a calare intesa. E esser mi parea là dove foro abbandonati i suoi da Ganimede, quando fu ratto al sommo consistoro. Fra me pensava, forse questa fiede, pur chi per uso e forse d'altro loco, disdegna di portarne s'uso in piedi. Poi mi parea che, poi rotata un poco, terribile come fulgor discendesse e mi rapisse s'uso infino al fuoco. Ive parea che ella e io ardesse, e se lo incendio immaginato cose che convenne che il sonno si rompesse, non altrimenti Achille si riscosse gli occhi svegliati, rivolgendo in giro e non sapendo là dove si fosse, quando la madre da Chirone Schiro travugò lui dormendo in le sue braccia, là onde poi i greci dipartiro che mi scosso io sì come della faccia, mi fugge il sonno e diventa smorto come la uom che spaventato aggiascia. Da lato mi era solo il mio conforto, il sole era alto già più che 2 ore, il viso mi era alla marina torto. Non aver tema, disse il mio Signore, fatti sicur che noi semo e buon punto, non stringer, ma rallarga ogni vigore. Tu se omai al purgatorio giunto, vedi là il balzo che il ciudi d'intorno, vedi l'entrata, l'ave par disgiunto, dianzi nell'alba che procede al giorno, quando l'anima tua dentro dormia, sovra li fiori onde è laggiù adorno. Venne una dama e disse, io son Lucia, lasciatemi pigliar costui che dorme, sì, la lleverò per la sua via. Sordel rimase e l'altri gentil forme ella ti tolse, e come il di fu chiaro, sen vene suso, e io per le sue orme. Qui ti posò, ma pria mi dimostraro gli occhi suoi belli quella intrata aperta, poi ella e il sono ad una si andaro, aggiusa d'un uom che in dubbio si raccerta e che muta in conforto sua paura, poi che la verità lì è discoperta. Mi cambia io e come senza cura vidi me il duca mio su per lo balzo si mossi ed io di retro in ver l'altura. Next, please.
Le tortu vedi ben com'io innalzo la mia matere però con più arte non ti maravigliar s'io la rincalzo. Noi già presam ed eravamo in parte che là dove pariammi prima rotto or come un fesso che muro di parte. Vidi una porte 3 gradi di sotto, per gira ad essa di color diversi, e un portier cancor non faccia moto. e come l'occhio più e più va persi, vidil seder sovra il grado sovrano, tal ne la faccia ch'io non lo soffersi. Una spada nuda avea in mano, che rifletteva i raggi si ver noi, ch'io drizzava spesso il viso in vano. Dite costinci che volete voi, cominciarli a dir ove la scorta. Guardate che il venir su non vi noi. Donna del cielo, di queste cose accorta, risposto il mio maestra lui Purgianzi, ne disse andate là, qui v'è la porta. Ed egli passi vostri ben avanzi, di cominciò cortese, portinaio. Venite dunque a nostri gradi innanzi. La ne venimo lo scaglion primaio, bianco marmora si pulite terzo, ch'io mi specchiai in esso qual io paio. Era al secondo tinto più che perso, d'una petrina ruvide arsiccia, crepate per lo lungo e per traverso. Lo terzo che di sopra sa massiccia, porfido mi paria, si fiammeggiante, come sangue che fuor di vena spiccia. Sovra questo teniambo le piante, l'angel di Dio sedendo in su la soglia, che mi sembiava pietra di diamante. Per lì 3 gradi su di buona voglia, mi trasse il duca mio, dicendo chiede, umilmente che il serame scioglia. Duncan?
Divoto mi gritai a santi piedi. Misericordia, chiesi a quel m'aprisse, ma 3 volte nel petto pria mi diedi. 7 p. Nella fronte mi descrisse col punto della spada e fa che lavi. Quando sei dentro queste piaghe, disse, Signore, a terra che secca si cavi, d'un color fuora col suo vestimento, e di sotto da quel trasse 2 chiavi. La una era d'oro e l'altra era d'argento, pria con la bianca e porcia con la ghiala. Fece alla porta sì, chi fu contento. Quando che l'una de este chiavi falla, che non si voga dritta per la toppa, disse a noi, non sapre questa calla. Più cara è l'una, ma alto vol troppa, di arte e di genio, avante che d'essere, perché ella è quella che il nolo di groppa, da Pier Lategro, e decime chi eri, anzi ad apri catenella serata, perché la gente a piede mi satere. poi pinse Lucio alla porta sacrata, dicendo: Entrante, ma facciove, accorti, che de fior torna chin de dietro si guata, e quanto forne cardini distorti, li spigoli de quella reghe sacra, che di metallo son sonanti a forte. Non rugio si ne si mostro si acra, tarpia, come toto le fu il buono metello, perché poi rimase macra. Io mi rivolsi attento al primo tuono e te diam damas mi paria. Udiri in voce, mista o dolce suono. Tali immagini appunto mi rendia. Ch'io undiva, qual prende si suole, quando a cantar con organi si stia, corsi o no, si intendono le parole. Ok, inglese.
Start reading? Okay. Purgatorio, Canto 9, Dante's Dream of the Eagle, the Gate of Purgatory and the Angel, seven P's, the keys. The concubine of old Tithonius now gleamed white upon the eastern balcony, forth from the arms of her sweet paramour. With gems her forehead all reluctant was, set in the shape of that cold animal, which with its tail doth smite amain the nations. And of the steps with which she mounts, the night had taken two in that place where we were, and now the third was bending down its wings. When I, who had something had of Adam in me, vanquished by sleep, upon the grass reclined, there were all five of us already sat. Just as the hour when her sad lay begins, the little swallow near unto the morning, perchance in memory of her former woes, and when the mind of man, a wanderer more from the flesh and less by thought imprisoned, almost prophetic in its vision is. In dreams it seemed to me I saw suspended an eagle in the sky, with plumes of gold, with wings wide open, and intent to stoop. And this, it seemed to me, was where had been by Ganymede his kith and kin abandoned, when to the high consistory he was rapt. I thought within myself, perchance he strikes from habit only here, and from elsewhere disdains to bear up any in his feet. Sylvia, do you want to take over?
I've read before. Oh,
No.
okay. Okay.
John was reading.
Line
Yeah.
28.
Line 28.
Yeah. Who's going to ring? Well, I'll read a little bit. Then it seemed to me that, wheeling slightly and terrible as lightning, it swooped, snatching me up to the fire's orbit. And there it seemed that he and I were burning. And this imagined conflagration scorched me so I was compelled to break my sleep. Next. Who's next? I can't see who's next.
I'm here. Yeah, this year's gone.
Then it would be Anne, I think.
Not otherwise, Achilles started up around him, turning his awakened eyes, and knowing not the place in which he was. What time from Shire in Sicily his mother carried him sleeping in her arms to Socrates, where from the Greeks withdrew him afterwards. Then I upstarted, when from off my face sleep fled away, and pallid I became, as doth the man who freezes with all right. Only my comforter was at my side. And now the sun was more than 2 hours high, and turned towards the seashore was my face. Be not intimidated, said my Lord. Be reassured, for all is well with us. Do not restrain, but put forth all thy strength. Thou hast at length arrived at Purgatory. See there the cliff that closes it round. See there the entrance where it seems disjoined. John.
Whilom at dawn, which doth precede the day, when inwardly thy spirit was asleep, upon the flowers that decked the land below, there came a lady and said, I am Lucia. Let me take this one up, who is asleep. So will I make his journey easier for him. Sordello and the other noble shapes remained. She took thee, and as day grew bright, upward she came, and I upon her footsteps. She laid thee here, and first her beauteous eyes, that open entrance pointed out to me. Then she and sleep together went away. In guise of one whose doubts are reassured, and who to confidence his fears doth change, after the truth has been discovered to him, so did I change, and when, without disquiet, my leader saw me up along the cliff, he moved and I behind him toward the height. Next, please.
Reader, you know to what exalted height I raised my theme. Small wonder if I now summon still greater art to what I write. As we drew near the height, we reached a place from which, inside what I had first believed to be an open breach in the rock face, I saw a great gate fixed in place above 3 steps, each with its own color, and a guard who did not say a word and did not move. Slow, bit by bit, raising my lids with care, I made him out, seated on the top step, his face more radiant than my eyes could bear. He held a drawn sword, and the eye of day beat such a fire back from it that each time I tried to look, I had to look away. I heard him call, "What is your business here? Answer from where you stand. Where is your guide? Take care you do not find your coming dear." Next.
You, Des.
John K.
Yes.
No, Des is the next reader.
Yeah. I can take it here, but see if you can follow this. This is line 88.
I think
Okay.
so. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
From heaven, a lady, knowing all these things, told us a short time past. My teacher answered, Go forward, for the gate you seek is here. May she advance your steps in doing well. Once more the courteous guardian began, Come forward, therefore, to these stairs of ours. And there we came to them. The first great block was marble, white, so burnished and so clean that as I appear was mirrored there. The second, in its tint more dark than purse, was rock, waste, rough to touch and scorched and dry, cracked both across and upward to its height. Sorry, not used to that one. That's the Italian stuff. The third, which massively weighed these two down, was porphyry, it seemed, and flamed as bright as fresh blood spurting from a severed vein. And on this third, the angel of the Lord had placed both feet and sat across the threshold, which, as it seemed, was adamantine stone. Okay.
Along the 3 stairs upward with good will did my conductor draw me, saying, Ask humbly that he the fastening may undo. Devoutly at the holy feet I cast myself. for mercy's sake besought that he would open. But first upon my breast 3 times I smote. 7 P's upon my head he described with the sword's point, and said, Take heed that thou wash these wounds when thou shalt be within, he said. Ashes are earth that dry is excavated, of the same color were with his attire. And from beneath it he drew forth 2 keys. One was of gold, the other was of silver. First with the white, and after with the yellow, plied he the door, so that I was content. Whoever faileth either of these keys, so that it turn not rightly in the rock, he said to us, this entrance will not open. Back to the first reader.
More precious one is, but the other needs more art and intellect ere it unlock. For it is that which doth the knot unloose. From Peter I have them, and he bade me err, rather than in opening than in keeping shut, if people but fall down before my feet. Then push the portals of the sacred door, exclaiming, Enter, but I give you warning, that forth returns whoever looks behind. And when upon their hinges were turned around, the swivels of that consecrated gate, which are of metal, massive and sonorous, roared not so loud, nor discordant seemed Tarpeia, when was ta'en from the good Metellus, wherefore meager it remained. At the first thunder peal I turned attentive, and Te Deum Laudamus seemed to hear in voices mingled with sweet melody. Exactly such an image rendered me that which I heard, as we are wont to catch when people sing with the organ stand, for now we hear, and now hear not the words.
We are in purgatory.
Purgatory.
Voila.
At long
Voila.
last.
Okay, Des, I wanted to tell you that what you read was remarkably like the Longfellow version.
Yeah,
It was very understandable.
it was, yeah.
So,
Yep.
all right. Oh my goodness, we are 2 minutes after the hour. Oh well. Thank you all very much.
All right,
Thank you.
There's
All right,
another
discussion today?
example. Hopefully, it will not happen so, very often, where you will arrive at the scene of the Zoom, and I will not be here.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, that happens sometimes. In this case, I did send a message to Anne. I don't know whether she got it in time. But if you arrive and I'm not here, and a bunch of you are here, and it's time to begin,
Begin.
take Dante by the horns and begin. Just like you.
Without
And I told Dee Dee that you were minding your oil well, and she was horrified.
No, all my oil sins were committed when I was a young boy and lived in the oil refinery colony of Standard Oil, New Jersey.
And you weren't making the profit right. That would have landed you in Inferno.
That's right. I did not make a profit off of it, although I undoubtedly benefited from it. Okay.
Yeah, that's
All right.
true.
You know, I
I
mean,
guess.
I'm
All right.
looking at my sins as best I can.
we go.
Take care. See
Bye-bye.
some of you tomorrow.
See you
Bye-bye.
next